So you got everything set up, but you're having some trouble. So where do you start? There's troubleshooting inputs with the add-on version 4.4. There's a new set of dashboards that ship with it now that make it a heck of a lot easier to troubleshoot and understand where something might be broke or permissions might be inadequate and so on. So this is a feature that is within the add-on version 4.4, but know that you can also run your own searches like the index equals underscore internal, AWS star, and so on. So let's see what that looks like. Here is the add-on, and under the health check, this health overview, this page is out of the box. And so once you configure inputs, this will start populating. So like here, I have 10 CloudWatch errors that have occurred here in the last 1 day. And if I go ahead and click on that, it will give me basically a list of what's going on. And so here it's configuration error, no valid metrics were returned under this metric dimension. So I am putting in some metric dimension that doesn't exist in my environment. I have not configured it on my AWS side, and so hence when I've enabled here on the Splunk side though, so it's giving me this error. So useful information for interacting with it relatively quickly. Also, there's this S3 input health details here. This page allows you to see that one, how much you're processing in your S3 input, so you can determine if you need to size it differently or have additional heavy forwarders possibly, and any kind of errors as well. You'll see them down here, generic S3 error message. So if we had problems with that one input that we added earlier, we would see them here, right? But there aren't any. And also, if we do go further back in time here, let's do the last 30 days, we should see some errors or something else here appear. Going 30 days back in time here, we can see I had a lot of errors originally when I set this up, as well as delay, but that some of this is anticipated just because when the logs first happened versus when they were processed. But then we look here at these errors, failed to parse message, and this is where the dead letter queue comes into play for the SQS-based S3. This is where we can then go to that dead letter queue and look and see what events have come in that might have not been processed. And in fact, if we go over there to our S3 console, that's S3 or AWS console, and go find SQS, and then in the dead letter queue where those errors were, there should be a bunch of these events. And so here is dead letter queue, and if we go ahead and now go queue actions, and we want to view or delete messages, and then do start polling. This is going to poll the environment there and get basically all of these outstanding logs. And so if we click on more details for some of these right now are okay to see. They're just some of these messages that have not been parsed or are not set up to be parsed really by the add-on. So instead they go into this bucket and eventually get deleted. This is also why you want that read drive policy to only process the files once, not many times, so that the Splunk add-on doesn't keep processing the same events over and over again. The last bit to show here is to get some additional granularity, you want to go to the configuration tab in the add-on and go to the logging section. You can turn on here various inputs and make them in debug mode like I had here previously. Now I'm just going to take them back to info. But this will enable additional logging as well, so that when you're looking at these other dashboards, like the S3 inputs health details, these messages will start to appear and more details will be provided in them. And where else can you go for help? There's always Splunk Answers, so answers.splunk.com. You can come in here, search for AWS or whatever problem you're having, and see if anything there exists. The documentation also is a good place. So you can Google search for a majority of this, but so under the Splunk add-on for AWS and Splunk app for AWS, there'll be a troubleshooting section down here where you can get additional info or just see if the problem you're having is documented here within this set of pages. Then you also have your account team on the Splunk side, as well as the ability to open tickets if you're a paying Splunk customer. So with that, thank you very much. Enjoy your Splunk and AWS journey.